is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Cutlass of Board Games channel. Here again with another Magic the Gathering Arena Historic video. As you can see, last night I just hit Mythic rank, playing something new that I'm actually pretty excited about to show off today, and that is green-red aggro, which I'll pull up here. So a lot of these cards are pretty new to me. Like, I haven't actually had a chance to play with a lot of this stuff, but being able to shape the way that the deck works and see how all the different things come together has been really interesting and really powerful. The key card here is Jarsil, Dark Age Scion. Now, the way that Jarsil works is that starting intensity 1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may cast a spell with mana value equal to Jarsil Dark Age Scion's intensity from your graveyard without paying its mana cost, and then you increase the intensity. So what will happen is at the start of combat, you get to play something that costs 1 for free. If it's an instant or sorcery, it will just go right back to the graveyard instead of something, for example, with flashback, which would be exiled afterwards. So you could repeat this. However, because the intensity changes, you can't just hit a 1-drop constantly, right? And so what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the intensity to hit 1, trying to get the intensity to hit 2, and then potentially 3, and then maybe play a second one or whatever. Usually, once you cast something on intensity 2, you've won the game. Because that is turn 4. But let's have a look at the things that he's going to be casting for free for us. First of all, Fanatical Firebrand. This card's great because you go Firebrand on 1, I'm going to attack you a few times. On turn 3, when I play Jarsil, I will sacrifice the Firebrand to deal 1 damage to something. Jarsil comes in, brings it back at the beginning of combat. I can then attack with the Firebrand if I want to. Or I can just shoot a blocker, or I could, doing that means I could do 2 damage to one thing to stop it from being able to block, or I could just go to the face twice, which is really strong. I then also have Kumano faces Kakazan and Tenacious Pup, both of which will put a +1/+1 counter on the creature that I play on turn 2. Tenacious Pup does a slightly better version of it, where it gives a trample and vigilance counter, and you gain 1 life. This card is insane, honestly. So turn 1 Tenacious Pup, turn 2 Kari Zev, where Kari Zev is a first strike, menace, vigilance, trample. Kind of crazy. This is a good one for just putting a lot of pressure on the board. Menace makes it really, really difficult to block. And the Ragavan coming in and out is really only a problem if your opponent is playing a life gain deck, and the life gain deck is able to have something that says when your opponent plays creatures, which is not great. However, we do have Ataka's Command. This is the all-star in the mono white life gain meta, which has a mode that says your opponent can't gain life this turn. This is possibly the best card in the deck. Being able to choose your opponents can't gain life is kind of huge, but also you have turns where you can go, okay, 3 damage to your face, all of my guys get +1/+1. And then, like pre-combat, right? Move to combat, Jarsil, 3 damage to your face, because he casts it again from your graveyard, all my guys get +1/+1. So I've just done 6 damage to you, and given all of my guys +2/+2 for 2 mana. Right, and this is on turn 4 at the earliest, so I have 2 other mana to do something else with, and we could do something similar with Static Discharge. Because Static Discharge deals damage equal to its intensity, and then the intensity of all cards named Static Discharge in all zones increased by 1. You go Static Discharge from hand, it goes to the graveyard. The one in the graveyard now will deal 4 damage instead of 3 damage. Jarsil casts it back, right? Deals 4 damage to you. Now it deals 5 damage while it's in my graveyard. It's not exiled. I could still cast it again later. And then I can, if I play a second Jarsil, do the same thing. Oh, here's my Static Discharge again, right? So it's really easy to recycle the things that you want to be using. We have a few other things. Feldon. This card is actually really cool. I wanted to I wanted to have this instead of Robber of the Rich, mostly just to try it out, but it actually turned out just be better. And the main reason why is Toralf's Disciple. What Toralf's Disciple does is he says the more times I attack, the greater percentage of your deck becomes Lightning Bolt. And Feldon says, I've taken damage, I'm going to attempt to draw you a Lightning Bolt to cast this turn. Now, I very specifically had one game where this was the exact line needed to win. I'm playing the green-black fighting Phyrexian Obliterator deck. I've swung in with everything because I'm like, well, if I don't win this turn, I'm definitely going to lose the game because he's going to untap and make me sacrifice all my permanents. He blocks something of mine that is a 4/4. All of my permanents will be sacrificed if I don't deal fatal damage. Feldon, trigger goes on the stack. I get to see the top 3 cards, I think it was, because they had 2 creatures. I get to see the top 3 cards, and among them was Lightning Bolt. The Lightning Bolt that was exactly fatal to kill my opponent. And this can become pretty consistent the more times that you attack with Toralf, because every time he puts 4 Lightning Bolts into your deck. Which can be kind of crazy. It just means, like, a lot of the time, you're worried about flooding, or you're worried about just not drawing gas. Every time he attacks your deck, it's slightly more likely to draw the thing that kills your opponent. It would be great if it was just putting Static Discharge in my deck, but not quite. Then we have some other green-red aggro staples like Burning Tree Emissary. Burning Tree Emissary will often pick up the counter from Kumano or the counters from Tenacious Pup, but then also put in a Feldon or a Karizev, and the idea is to just try and put as much board presence into play on turn 2. Hopefully some of it will have haste, like Feldon, and like get in there, and then on turn 3, you're hopefully playing the Jarsil to return the 1-drop that was blocked, or the Fanatical Firebrand that you've sacrificed to bring it back, so that you will have a whole bunch of creatures. And then on turn 4 is when you're blasting out from your hand all of your 2-drops, probably the spells, ideally, and going for Fatal. Now, that is enough of that. Let's just have a look at it in action. Okay, this opener's pretty good. We can go Kumano into Feldon. Tenacious Pup into Feldon isn't that great. The only extra thing that you get is the Vigilance, which means he can attack and block and potentially draw your cards if your opponent has weenies. But I like Kumano just because it's going to quicker make a dude. That's really loud. Let's turn that down a lot. Jesus Christ. Alright. My opponent's playing Charbeltra, but I think I can race Charbeltra. So I'm coming in for 8. Oh, it's not. It's Arclight Phoenix. Oh, okay. I mean, that's fine. I think I'm still way faster than that. Okay. Quiet Bee, but it's really loud for me. So I'm assuming it's going to put something into my hand. Okay, he has to put 2 Phoenixes into play here or die, basically. Okay, so we need something red that costs 1, so you might kill one of my dudes. He's thinking about it very hard. Okay. Lightning Axe is interesting. Just cards a land, so he doesn't have a third Phoenix in hand. He's not going to attack me, he's going to need to block. Oh, that's pretty good. Let's play another Torals. Putting 8 lightning bolts into my deck's pretty good. This is how we beat Mill. We put 62 cards. Okay. So I'm still representing Fatal. Like, he needs to bring back the Phoenix every turn. That's pretty good. I have to choose one of my 5 cards though. It's a lot of lightning bolts. He's going to have... You gotta take the bolt. He's gonna have the Phoenixes back. Kumano plus lightning bolt puts him to 1. I've got 11, 10, 9, 8. 8 lightning bolt in deck currently. So I could still rip one and just go bolt, bolt. Okay, he doesn't have a 1-drop blue spell because it immediately passed priority. And just kill my opponent. Pretty easy, like that. That wasn't a difficult matchup. Okay, this is pretty good. Tenacious Pup in a car reserve is pretty strong. My opponent's playing Esper. I guess it also depends on what kind of removal. I'm electing to not play the Burning Tree Emissary because I think I'm going to want it to regroup after a bunch of removal is like played out. Sky Reserve alone is a lot of pressure. Nice if there's like a fatal push. Because he can't cut down, it's 6. There's 100 keywords. Okay, we're gonna play this. We're gonna sprint 2 attacks. He's just holding a counterspell. That's interesting. And I'm just gonna play Kumano and then hold Ataka's command. I have no idea what my opponent's doing. The 3 to you and then prevent life gain might be super relevant. Yep. Let's just do it. So I get to jostle and bring back Jackal Pup, Tenacious Pup. So I'm gonna have 3 creatures attacking in next turn. Because Kamano also dodges the board wipe. That's interesting. Is this like Doomscar? Not foretold. The other cool thing about Tenacious Pup is it's whenever you cast your next spell, whereas Kumano's second mode is only this turn, so I can just like not have to cast a creature spell immediately. So if I wanted here, I could just be playing the Artagas command. I don't know what my opponent's going to do. Something. Exile my guy. Is that all? What do you get rid of? Doesn't see if that makes sense. Ooh, he gets to exile my Tenacious Pup maybe? Or trim my graveyard maybe? Okay. That's interesting. I'm gonna make my pup bigger, because then that pups can make this bigger. Yeah. So I do this, which means this guy now has 2 power to kill the Kaya, and I'm now representing Fatal. I think the life gain mode might have been better. And then we have a concede. So I have no cards in hand at that point, so if he did have something like Solar Wreckage or another board wipe, I could have been in a sticky situation. Okay, this is slow. I think I still keep this. Okay. Not showing green can be relevant sometimes. But I only have 4 mountains, so that's not going to happen very often. But if they just assume I'm playing red deck wins, they probably won't expect the, or like burn or something, I don't know. This is interesting. I might just kill this. I think Static Discharge onto the infantry is going to be relevant. Next time I'm playing Felden and attacking with all 3. Which means I'm probably holding Car Reserve until later. This gets better and better. That other cool interaction there where Kumano says you must play a creature to receive the +1/+1 counter, and I can play the Burning Tree Emissary, but then I'm like for my turn 2, I'm playing sorcery, is pretty good. Double strike. I've got 9, like, that's a problem. Not hitting a land might have lost this game. Because if I could have slammed Toralf, then my opponent's dead. I block. I think I just die. Oh no. I take 4. Okay. My opponent concedes? What's going on? Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, that's what should have happened, right? Like, I should have been able to peel away. My opponent's tapped down. I play Tora. If I attack, they die. That wasn't really that different from the expectation. This is obviously a mulligan. This is much better. We put 5 grand back in the deck. Because Kumano into card reserve is more important, and I want to keep both static discharges. That card's really good. Okay, we rip Toralf. You have to play a 2/4 card reserve. This card with the +1 counter on it on turn 2 is just so hard to kill. Okay, we hit Copperline Gorge. Need to play Toralf on curve. Like, this is a great curve out. You know, my deck is all lightning bolts. That's fine. Go for it. On what? Okay. Just go face. It's cool art. Okay, there's Roth. Rip Lightning Bolt. Okay, here's Jarsil. We're gonna get not only the Tenacious Pup boost, but we're gonna bring back Kumano, which means that they're now in lethal range of the static discharge. And not just that static discharge, also this static discharge. So I just go to combat and kill my opponent. You gotta see that, right? Surely. Like, I could have done an extra 5 damage to him. So he could have gained much more life that turn. Could have gained much more life that turn. Alright, so that was a pretty quick look at the deck, right? I played just a couple of games. I won every single one of them. It wasn't close. I really wasn't that stressed. And that's pretty much what my climb to Mythic was like. I just kind of made the deck because I've been brewing with Jarsil a lot. I tried a whole bunch of different versions with it. I made a blue, green, red, where you're basically similar to this deck, but you're splashing blue for a lot of those wizards that get boosts whenever you cast instants and sorceries, and then you're using Jarsil to recast a lot of those spells. I was playing a lot of cards that were using Perpetual to do different things, like the static, but there's also like methods, which makes your guys bigger when you do finally play them, and a whole bunch of stuff like this, all trying to figure out how best to use it. And then I was like, you know what, why don't we just go face? And it's the easiest climb to Mythic that I've ever had, which is kind of telling. I don't know if I would say Jarsil is busted, but the way that the deck comes together so neatly, and he's able to, like, even without attacking there, he was able to deal 4 damage to my opponent for free. For 3 mana, 4 damage is above rate in standard. Like, that's kind of crazy, I guess. Anyway, that's my little piece on Historic. I have been enjoying playing the format a lot recently, and if you've been getting into Magic Arena yourself, do check out Historic. If you are a big Historic player, I do have some other videos. I'll put buttons up here, some buttons for you to click on, with some other Magic Arena stuff that I have going on for you to check out. And you know, watching other videos helps the channel a lot, but also hitting that like and subscribe button. I know everyone says it all the time, but it really does help a lot. And as you can see, the channel, I am putting a lot of effort into trying to grow it, and I would appreciate your support. So hope to see you in the next one, and thanks for hanging out.